I'm going to see if I can get this whole thing. I already did a video. I'm going to put this in front of it, explaining that on the bank machine, the debit machines, which is the other way of the numbers are placed the same way as the telephone, except the Q and the Z are placed on the number 1, equaling to 26 and equaling to 17. They come out of the 7 hole. In the 7 hole on the phone, it's PQRS. They take out the Q. From a total of 70, take out the Q, it's now a total of 53. On the 9 key, okay, they take out the Z, which was total of 98, take away 26 is 72. This they put on the 1 key. They used to have nothing on the 1 key, and on the typewriter, okay, it's the explanation point, which might be the upside down, 3468. Understanding where 68 comes from, because the average of Q, 3 times Q, remember, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 5 is the same. 1 splits up a circle that makes half and half, makes 2 sides. So we're going to take 2 sides. 17 and 17 is 34, equals to 68. 33 on this side, 35 on that side. 68, communication, 9 lives of the cat. 51 is earth, 153 is the communication, 1 and 3 is the altered current, 2, 5 and 5, 2 and 1 and half. The half, because it's a V. It's between 1 and 3. It's not in between. It's down here is where they share it. Not up here. 2 shows the in-between of the second level. It becomes 3 times 17. 51 is Mars. Communication is the 4th part of it. If you take 2 parts of it, it's 3 and 4, and DC owns that communication. When you run it down here, 70 and 90, 168 hours in a week, 1/6 of the half-life of 8. 1 and 6 meets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 rows. When you meet the number 8, it's 8 that goes around 1. 17 becomes 53, and C and E, isn't that the creation? At the 0 point, the markings of the calendar. Down below, you have 1.25, and it's 1.25 is creation. 5 times 5 times 5, 3 parts of the triangle, and you flip the triangle over. You have a triangle, you have 3 points. When you flip that triangle over, the 2 points in the center stay the same. If you divide that road, that is the passing road between the 2 sides. Now you have a 4th point. It becomes 3 and 1. 1.25 times 288 becomes 360 degrees. 144 and 144. 6 times 24, the Mayan calendar runs on 10 days of 24 hours, equaling to 240. We run on 7 days, which it's 6 days and 1 day. 6 and 6 is 12, the 12 hours on the clock. We link up the next part of time in which I believe they do not count, which is 6 hours lost to a 30-hour day and not a 24-hour day. Since there are 2 sides of 6 and 6, we have to share them. 6 goes to this side for 30, 6 goes to this side for 30, the total is 12. So now we add the 12 to the 24, equaling to 36. 1/2 is lost. It's hard to explain. I take 1 with 2, I take 2 with 3, I take 3 with 4, I take 4 with 5, but in between 1 and 5 is 2, 3, and 4. And on the other side is 2, 3, and 4, except in position 6, 7, and 8, because it explains something that there are 2 sides. The same thing is with Gematria, okay? In Gematria, so let me put this on hold for a second. When we switch over from Gematria, okay, it would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then it would go to 1 again in the piano, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then 1 in the piano. But in Gematria, it goes down to 6, then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then 1. Because why 1, 1? When we make the U-turn from 1, 1, then we go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 7 goes back to 6, because it's on the other side. 7 is the divider of the 2 sides. So it's 6, 7, 13, and then 7, 6, 13. It becomes 7 times 6, 7 plus 6, 13, and 42 equals to 55, and 55, 110. The tower separations that come down, there are 2 towers, because we cannot touch the top with the bottom, so we separate them. The same way we come from a hexagon to an octagon, by separating and adding into 2 more walls. You have the upper and the lower. So now you have, instead of 55, you have your top part and you have your bottom part. 55 and 55 is 110. You now divide the center by 10, becomes 120. Add 1 to 15 is 120. Add 210 divided by 20 on the dartboard. That becomes 210. There are 216 hours plus 1 link hour of 24 hours in the 10 day of the Mayan. 9 times 24 is 216 plus the 24 link. 9 times 1 plus 1, 9 times 9, 1, 9 equals 240, 240, 432 hours plus 24 hours to link. Because we must link in between 2 sides, I must have 2 links. Me in the center with no links is 216 hours. If I add the 2 links, it's 48 hours. 48 and 216 is 264, and that's our video run. In this scenario over here, when we get the 6, okay, it becomes 8 and 9 is now 6 and 5, and at the piano, it becomes A and B, 1 and 2, this becomes 77. This is the 8th and the 9th in Gematria. This becomes 6 and 5 again. 6 and 5 becomes 6. It becomes the 8th key. It becomes A is 1. 6, 1, 8. 14 and 1 is 15. Here it becomes H. Okay, H, which is, 7, 8, 9. This is H. This becomes I. B becomes I. By, because it's 5 in the middle, it becomes to 2 sides, between 4 and 6, in which this side should be 8. Becomes 6 and 9. Between 6 and 8, the dividing line is 7. Do you follow me? 6 and 8 over here. 8, excuse me, 1 and 8 over here. The total is 9, the dividing, because the 4 corners, which has the dividing area. This area divides here and here, showing 4 different corners. This runs all the way up the street and turns and runs all the way this way. By the stop sign, it can turn this way. That's why we cut the corner, to make the movement of whatever checker we're trying to move. So in this area, we have 8 and 9 here, running with 5 and 6, 17 and 11, 2 and 8, cycle of the moon. Again, we have 8 and 9, the numbers to the red sun, and number 7, and number 3, and the number to the foxhole, 5 and 4, the number to the sun, both coming out in 89, both coming out in 89. And over here, you have how many numbers? You have all the way to 26Z, and then once you get to Z, it ends in an 8. There is no 9 unless you go to F on the piano right over here, but we already know even if it's an F, we have to understand that once we get here, the opposite side of the piano goes the other way and arrives here at the 29th key, the 28th key, the 27th key. This becomes number 53, C and E. Any craps? 7, 11, right? Any craps, 7, 11, 2, and 12, because the games people play in the game of craps is that number. If we go to all the 8s, we get E, we get C, and we get A. A, C, E, ace. We get 8, 8, and 8, 24, 2, and 4, and 6. We get 3. We get 5. We get 1. We get 9. It also says cat. And we get 4, and 1, and 6. 164 Zion. 11 equals 2. 2 and 24 equals 6. We have 2 and 6. And then we have the ace 9. We have 2, 6, and 9. 2 and 6 is 8. We leave the 9 alone because the 6 is underneath the square, and that is the smallest perfect you can have, because if you turn the square, you get the diamond, and you get the greatest diameter in the center running on the cross, the skull bones, okay? This is how the basic Gematria sets up against the piano order and the numerological sequence of each of the letters. This is how they perfectly design. With 9, you only get 2. It's B and D, 2 and 4. It's 5 and 5. The freedom of 55 and the speed limit right over here comes 9 and 9 is 18, becomes 9. 5 and 9, EI, EIO. CD comes in as 7. AB comes in as 3. E comes in. We're going to reverse it because we do not have one here. Now we're going to run with 7. E and D is 9. C and B is 5. 5, 9, and 8. This is just a basic setup. If you understand or don't understand, these are how the numbers in Gematria against the piano with regular numbers work, and backed up at the same time as Gematria, which counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then as 1, we come around again. Since it's 1, 1, we go down the row and come back. It hits 7, right? We go down this way. It becomes like an arrow, a half arrow, and then we come back again. The 1 is the U-turn, and those are the letters that are complying with it. 3 times your 8 is 24. 2 times your 9 is 18. This is your total of 42 maximum to run at this. Remember one thing in French. They say 17, 19, same. 10 with 9, 10 with 8, 10 with 7, 7, 8, and 9. 10 is actually 1, 0, which means I'm splitting the 0 for 2 sides, ABC and ABC, because 0 is the total of something. It is the total of the area. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Since 1 and 1 is together, make that 2. 2 and 3, 2 and 3, make it 2 and 3 is 5, 2 and 3 is 5. It's 5, 2, 5, or 25, 625 of the Mayan count, because that's the way it's set up to be. 52 is Earth. 51 is Mars. Back to Z again, okay? Z times 2 equals to that 52 Earth. Q, which is number 17, the gateway of one spirit, this is B, 2, 6, B, and F. The piano keys have no black keys to the right. This is 1 and 7, this is first and last. And first and last again comes back to A, because the next time you get the 8th key on the piano, 1 and 7, equals A again. So beginning from the first day of the week to the next day of the week becomes the first day of the week, because until you tie up the next period, you haven't gone anywhere at all until you've taken the second step to stand on 2 feet again. Raphael 7286 in a constellation of Pegasus. One thing at a time. Simple video. The first section of 7s begins at 16. Do not count 7, 8, 9, because that is a 2-number combination from the left side and the right side. Okay, that's the circle that's inside the 8. In order to have all of 8, you must have 7 and 9, because it's either the, when you aim on a scope, 8 is the center 50. 7 and 9 are 25 each. One reflecting one side, one reflecting the other side. You go up 2, you go down to, you go up 2 to 5, you go down to 2. Speaking up into the sky or down into the ocean, left or right to each side of you, the scope. When you have the average, okay, of these numbers, okay, when you have the average of these numbers at 26, okay, at 26, the average of these numbers, 26, okay, which is the Z. Or you have it at the Q. 1 is 17, 1 is 26. The total is 43. 43 and 1, 44, or 42. This number is found as they remove the Z and they remove the Q. On the telephone, the Q is on number 7, and the Z is on number 9. 9 and 7 is 16, the same area. They put it on number 1. 1 and 6 is 7. They take it, okay, from the 7 and 9, 16, 1 and 6, and they put it on the one area, and the total of 17 and 26 is 43. Both create 7. The 26 2 times is your 52, and that's your other 7. This is what happens when numbers come from the telephone communication and go into order on that debit banking machine, or on the debit banking machine, not the calculator that's run here upside down. 3 different divisions. Raphael 72, showing you all the ins and outs of numbers, one day to associate them all as a real story in creation.